All right. Hey, Shalom, Israel. Slack you for the technical difficulties. Like I was saying, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA, where we teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that we are the chosen people of the Bible. And what we are going to do today is we're going to talk about the job of marriage. Now, most times when you hear the duties of marriage or the job of marriage, you hear most of the time people are talking about how a wife should treat a husband, how a husband should treat a wife, and therefore, but today we're going to definitely talk about how a wife and a husband should treat each other, but we're going to also talk about the job of a parent, the job of parents and what parents need to be doing right now and how we are failing at training our children up in the way that they should go. We are failing to the point where our children are dying out on the streets. Our children they're not making it. This been a problem for years now. Like in the Black and Hispanic household, in the Native Indian household, man, it's a luxury to see the age 15, 16. And then if you make it to 21, man, then the Lord was with you. Most of us, we thought we was gone after the age of 14. We just knew we were gonna die soon. And that's just because we not being trained up in the truth. What we've been trained up in is a lie. And most of our parents, they weren't there because they were only trying to live their life. They felt like, oh, it was YOLO. They only had one life to live, so they're gonna live their life, and whatever happens, happens. But right now, we're dealing with a situation right now, and in this end time, in these end days, and how things are, starting to look, we have to really buckle down on how we training up these kids, because these are our future doctors. These are our future lawyers. These are our future nurses. These are our future right here. Like, these are the people, these are the children that's going to take care of us when we old and we can't move the way we used to move anymore. But if we training them up to just be gangsters that ain't gonna make it past the age of 16, then what does that say about us? What does that say about the world we're living in? The only thing that these kids are seeing right now, they seeing TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the only thing that's on there is nudity. You see nakedness on there. It don't matter if it's men or women, everybody naked. Then you got all these people that's coming out the closet so much that everybody are homosexual now. Everybody is a gender fluid and all that. Like, everybody is, experimenting at this point in time. But when the Bible tells you, go to Proverbs 22:6, man. You got it? This is what the Bible says. The Bible doesn't tell you to allow your kid to choose what gender they are. The Bible tells you to do this. Go ahead, Art.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Understand this. What we need to do right now is we need to train up these children in the way that they should go. So that way, when they get older, they don't depart from us. And that's what we're doing here in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commander General YAHANNA. We're training up these children in the way that they should go. We are training these children right now to the point where they could say that they've never sinned. They can say that I've never eaten pork, crab, shrimp, or lobster a day in my life. They can say that I ain't sit down and I just didn't lay down with any Tom, Dick, and Harry. I ain't just, the sisters can sit here and be like, well, I ain't just open my box to any man. And the brothers and the young men can be like, you know what? I ain't just give any nasty little female my rod. Because they're being trained up in the way that they should go. And this is the problem right now. Like, and the reason why I felt like we need to talk about this today is because there was a live video stream that was posted on multiple different social medias, man, of two young teenagers playing in the restroom with a pistol. And the pistol ended up going off, killing a young man, the cousin of the little girl. The little girl had a pistol. She playing around with the pistol. Don't know. There's no reason for a teenager right now to have a pistol. Like, that's the biggest problem right there. Like, if we just want to just sit here and talk about problems, why are they first and foremost by themselves alone with a pistol that had a drum on it? Why are they alone being able to play around with a pistol? Because of the society that we live in. Ak, you got that article? Go ahead and read that article, Ak. Let's just start there, man.
Mic check, mic check. This is from NBC News. Titled, Two Cousins, 12 and 14, Killed While Playing with Gun on Instagram Live, family says. Police in St. Louis classified the incident as murder-suicide, but a relative of Paris Harvey, 12 years old, and Karan Harvey, 14, said the shooting was a freak accident.
So right there, let's just start right there. There was a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old child. The girl was 12, the boy was 14. They're in a restroom, like I said, with a gun, with a drum on it. Why are they by themselves? Why are they able to sit here and have a gun in their possession like that? Like, see, we train people up on gun safety. But see, everybody in the world and society that we live in right now, everybody want to have a pistol. As soon as it was allowed, everybody got a pistol. Everybody, whoever was able to buy a pistol, bought a pistol. But the thing that y'all didn't understand and the thing that y'all did not learn is how to be safe with these weapons. Because there's little kids, 12-year-old and 14-year-old children that are looking at you, grown-ups, posting pictures with your pistol hanging out, posting pictures with you talking about I'm aiming at the ops. They're watching y'all. So as soon as they see the opportunity, oh, they gonna take the chance to grab the same pistol that they done seen mother and daddy grab, or uncle, or the cousin Pookie. Everybody grabbing these weapons, everybody showing off these weapons, but ain't nobody controlling these weapons. Y'all not practicing safety of these weapons. Like, this goes along with training. Like, the only way that you can train up a child in the way that they should go is you have to first be trained. But you're not being trained because you're too busy. You only got one life to live and you want to spray at the ops all day long, and you don't care where your pistol lies because they shouldn't touch your pistol. No. What you should have is you should have control over yourself and over your weapon enough to know, you know what? These children are young. These children are dumb. You can have the smartest, book smart kid of the world, and they'll still show you that they're still a child, and they're still dumb, and they still have learning to do. So there's no reason for this 12-year-old and 14-year-old to be around each other with a pistol, and nobody knows. Go ahead, keep reading that.
Two cousins from Missouri were live streaming when one fatally shot the other before she killed herself, police and a relative said. St. Louis police identified the children as Paris Harvey, 12, and her cousin Karan Harvey, 14, both of St. Louis.
Right.
Officers responded to a call about a shooting in the 1000 block of Spruce Street at 2 a.m. Friday, the police department said. The victim and suspect were located inside a residence suffering from puncture wounds, police said. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Police classified the incident as a murder-suicide, but family members say it was a tragic accident. Paris's mother, Shanice Harvey, told NBC affiliate KSDK of St. Louis that she let her daughter go to the apartment for a family party celebrating March birthdays.
Whoa. Read that one more time, man.
Khan. Paris's mother, Shanice Harvey, told NBC that she let her daughter go to the apartment for a family party. Salaki. Go to the apartment for a family party celebrating March birthdays.
So you allowed your child to go over to your other family member's house for a birthday celebration. For all the birthdays in March. And now you don't have your child anymore. Now, please don't think that I'm being insensitive about this situation, because this situation hits home harder than anybody can even imagine for me. Like, but let's just get down to the real. The Bible says that I hate and despise your feast days and your solemn assemblies. The Lord does not like birthdays. The Lord is not with birthdays. He's not with Christmas. He's not with Thanksgiving. He's not with none of these pagan holidays. And here in the I.S.U.P.K, we've been teaching that since 1969. We've been telling Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, stop celebrating these pagan holidays. Stop celebrating. The Bible tells you, don't celebrate my birth. Celebrate my death. And of course, I'm going to paraphrase it. It says, when I was born, I didn't do nothing. When I was born, what did I do? I just came out the womb. So don't celebrate my birth. Celebrate my death. Because when I die, then you have stuff to talk about. You could be like, okay, what did Iran do while Iran was alive? Well, Iran changed his life. Iran became a new person, and Iran did the work of the Lord. Like, you have stuff to talk about. You didn't have nothing to talk about when I was born. The only thing you can say is, hey, he made it to the world. I made it to hell. That's what happened on my birthday. When I was born, I made it to hell. Do you really think that that's something to celebrate? Most of y'all be like, well, you know, I made it another year. Who gave you that blessing to see another year? And why do you have another year? You have another year because the Most High is giving you the opportunity to change yourself and to be who he wants you to be. That's why you have another year. Because we all could have died. It take a thought. The Most High could be like, you know what? You ain't doing what I want. And that person need to die. And you dead. If the Most High wanted to right now, he could kill me while I'm speaking. He can be like, you know what? I'm done with Iran. Boop. And I'm done. On live. On camera. Right now. So while y'all sitting here trying to celebrate your birthdays like you're doing something, what you should be doing is following what the Bible says. You should be following your master, your Lord, your Father, and stop celebrating these pagan holidays. Because this, like, and I pray that this woman sees that anytime a pagan holiday like a birthday comes around, she hates it. To the point where she gets into the truth, because she doesn't want to celebrate another birthday, because every time she sees someone celebrating a birthday, she thinks about her child. Again, I hope y'all don't see that I'm being insensitive, because this is what the Lord is doing. The Lord is putting judgment on stuff like this. And these kids were young. And if they was trained up correctly, this wouldn't even be a situation. And the mother sent her daughter somewhere else. So you can't just blame the mother, besides the fact that you sent her to celebrate a pagan holiday. But she in the world too, so she celebrates it. The person's fault that it is a person who left the gun. Like, you should have been trained up into being safe. Because you have children around you. And this ain't the time for you to just leave your weapon anywhere. Like, that's like a TikTok video that I seen the other day. There was a TikTok video. A woman on TikTok dancing and twerking. Did not recognize that her little child saw a gun sitting on a reclining chair. went over there waddling, and this kid couldn't have been no older than 1 or 2 years old. Went over there, picked the gun up. The mother of the child doesn't see it happening because she's too busy on TikTok trying to dance for the camera. She doesn't even see that her child picked up a weapon. Another sister that was in the house was walking past and saw that the kid picked up the gun, rushed over, grabbed the gun, and moved it out of the way, moved it out of sight. That's another incident that could have been worse because y'all are neglecting y'all's duty as parents because y'all too busy trying to be like the society that we're living in. Where is your brotherhood and your sisterhood? And most of the time that this stuff is happening, there is no man in the household. There wasn't a man in that video. Let's say maybe he was at work. But in the society that we live in right now, you don't really see men in the household because men are being driven out the household by the oppressor. The oppressor knows exactly what to do. The oppressor knows that if I strengthen up these sisters and make them independent women, that they'll sit here and turn on their man to get more money. They'll turn on their man to be TikTok famous. They'll turn on their husband because their husband wants you to be a modest dressing woman. He doesn't want you on TikTok shaking your behind. He doesn't want you on TikTok in your bra and your panties. He doesn't want you doing all these wicked things in the world, but you are too busy trying to be like everybody else because it's so much fun to be like everybody else. It's so much fun to be like everybody else, but you don't understand and you don't recognize how you're dying like everybody else. We are dying more than anybody else. The Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are dying out here. And the reason why we're dying more than anybody else is because we are being judged. The oppressor don't have to worry about being judged. These other heathen nations don't have to worry about that until the Most High sends Christ back. They don't have to worry about the judgment because the covenant is not with them. They didn't have the laws, statutes, and commandments that they have to follow. So they can do all kinds of things. They can do all kinds of drugs. They can sit here and teach a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old to sit here and know how to chamber out a gun, to clean a gun, to make a gun safe, and nothing happens. But see, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we don't take the time out to really get trained and train up people because we feel like we know everything. And now there's 2 young children that's dead, laid out dead because of lack of training. And this training comes from the Bible first. The Bible is your training book. Right. This is the book that tells you how you should be. And the biggest problem right now, let's go to Mark 3:27. The biggest problem right now, like, and this is where we're going to get into the parents. We're going to get into the what's one of the biggest problems and the reason why these children aren't being trained the way that they should be trained. Let's go to Mark. Go to Mark 3:27, man. And let me know once you have it. Once you have it, read it.
The book of Mark, chapter 3 and verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man.
Understand this. The society that we living in right now, the strong man has been binded for years. Anytime an argument happens, who's the first person that got to leave the house? Daddy. Who's the first person that goes to jail if the cops are called because of an argument and people are yelling back and forth? The man. Society and the oppressor built society to be based off of binding the strong man. And this is what we have to know. We have to understand this as men. We have to be more patient. We have to come at situations better. We don't have the luxuries of messing up. We don't. Because if we mess up, everybody under us is messed up. So we don't have the luxuries of oopsies. We don't have the luxuries of salakias. Because if we've messed up, the wife is messed up, the children is messed up. And all because what? Our patience. We don't have patience with certain things. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that there's a lot of sisters that's out here that are dragons. And I understand, brother. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand, brother. But see, there's ways to deal with dragons. There's ways to tame dragons. There's ways to get the situation handled without you having to be taken out of your home because of the society that we're living in, like child support, the police. You know, we have to take that out of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians household. We have to take that Section 8. We got to take that out of our households, because the world that we living in right now, in these end days, all these women, they need a man. They need men. These women can sit here and act like they don't need men all they want. They can sit here and say that they independent and all that is some bull. They need men. They need real men. And there's not a lot of real men around. Now, if you really want to talk about the population, the man to woman ratio, for every one man, there's probably about 12 women to every one man. Because you got to take out all the homosexuals. You got to take out everybody that's locked up. You got to take out all the people that don't like their own kind. You got to take them out too. And then you'll see what's stuck with the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the 12 tribes of Israel. It's one man to 12 women. And these 12 women are looking for a righteous man. But you got to first build yourself up as a man. You got to first learn and train yourself in the way that you should go, so that way you'll be able to train everybody else in the way that they should go. But right now, they understand in the society that we living in, the oppressor has been doing their job for the longest time. And they've been binding the strong man by getting him out of the house and empowering the woman, empowering the kids, empowering everything else that's out of the order that the Most High God has placed for us. That's who they have been empowering. They didn't want to empower the man, because they understand, they already know if you empower the man, there ain't nothing you can do. He's not gonna need your help. Real men, the only thing we need is training. Once we get training, we got it. We good. Only thing after that, we need correction. And that's what we get here in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA. We get checks. We get correction. We get counsel. We seek counsel, because we're not walking. Matter of fact, go to Psalms 1:1. I'm gonna let the scripture speak about what real men do. I'm gonna let the scripture speak about how we are supposed to be right now in this society. And what the problem is, we're not doing this because we're too busy being prideful beings. Go to Psalms 1:1 and read it once you have it.
Comes the book of Psalms, chapter 1 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful.
Keep reading.
Verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night.
Understand this, man. Blessed is the brother that's not sitting here loving the world more than he loves his family, loving the society that he living in to the point where he wants to sell drugs. Blessed is the brother that's not doing that. Blessed is the brother that's not sitting around people that's hating on the next person just because they might be doing a little bit better than you at this point in time. Blessed is the brother that is sitting here walking with wise men and not with cowards. Not with people that are sitting here telling you, okay, it's okay for you to destroy your life. Go ahead and sell this crack rock. And now you're doing 15 years in prison off of a crack rock. And now your family is being destroyed by the system. Blessed is the brother that has a mindset to want more, and the way that he wants more is by meditating in these laws, statutes, and commandments day and night. Blessed is that brother. And that's what we need. We need more people meditating in these scriptures. We need more people meditating in these laws, statutes, and commandments. Like at first, I used to hate going to church. And still to this day, y'all will not catch me in no church. I do not want to be at no church. You want to know why? Because the church don't teach you what you need to be taught.
That's right.
Like I used to hate opening the Bible and reading the Bible when I was younger. Because I was just like, here they go with this all high mighty stuff. But only when I got into the I.S.U.P.K, I started seeing that the Bible was for real niggas. All this stuff that everybody was teaching me beforehand was fake. And I see why I hated it. Because it wasn't the real. It wasn't the straight shot, no chaser. It wasn't the cut. You feel me? It was just the patty cake. Everybody want a patty cake around. Everybody want to, smooth it around. God loves everybody. No, the Bible says God hates.
That's right.
Oh, God is an all-loving God. No, it says God is a man of war.
Right.
See, that's what made me come into the I.S.U.P.K. The I.S.U.P.K. under Commander General YAHANNA went against the Christian church and won. And said what they were afraid to say. They were afraid to say that, you know what? You need to stop being a coward. You need to stop being effeminate. You need to stop being, you're a man. Be a man. It's okay for you to be a man. You don't have to be a all-loving spirit. No, because your father wasn't. Christ wasn't. The thing about it is, these men were trained. Christ was trained. The disciples was trained. All these people was trained in the way that they should go. They wasn't trained from birth, but when they got the training, like I said, you don't have to be a baby to be a child in the mindset, all right? They were trained. And when they were children in the mind, they were trained up to be adults. That's just like what we're doing in the truth right now. You go from doing your 90 days as a student, that's a baby. Then you become a trooper. Then you become an officer of 50. Then you become an officer of 500. Then an officer of 1,000. Then an officer of 5,000. That takes time. That takes growth. Then you know, even for the sisters, you did your 90 days. Then, sister, you got your name. Now, sis, now you in class, and now as the years go by, what are you doing? Are you progressing? Are you becoming something more? Or are you becoming something less? What are you doing right now? Are you training yourself up in a way that you should grow? Or are you just sitting here just soaking in stuff and letting it go through one ear and out the other? I want to be the blessed person to not walk around with the wicked, the people that's scornful. I want to be the person that's walking around with wise men. I want to get counsel. If I need counsel, that's where I'm going. That's what a wise person does. A wise person receives counsel when they need counsel. They're not running from counsel. They're not hiding themselves from counsel. They get it when they need it. Like, it's time for us to train ourselves. Like, right now, with that situation with them two kids, everybody that, the family members, right now, everybody is thinking, what could I have done better? What could I have done for these two kids, this 12-year-old girl and this 14-year-old boy? What could I have done better for them to still be alive right now? This is their time that they need to come into the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA. This is the time that they need us to love them. And by us loving them, it's correcting them. is showing them what they need and giving them what they need. They need that water. They need that breath of life. They need that. And that doesn't come from the Christian church. That doesn't come from everybody just sitting here like, oh, I understand. I'm so sorry. No, send your condolences. But at the same time, we also need to check on the people that left that weapon out. Why was that weapon out? That wasn't wise for a weapon. First of all, the weapon is loaded. It wasn't wise for that weapon to be out. Like if you're going to do that, at least make sure that it's cleared out. Make sure that there is no bullets in there. Make sure that the extendo clip or the drum that was in the pistol wasn't in there. Like we have to be more cautious of the things that we do. Because if we're not, people die. That's what we've learned in the truth. We learn if, as priests and prophets, if we're not cautious of what we do, people can die. And the reason why people can die is because we have certain criteria, certain laws, statutes, and commandments that we have to follow. We have to follow them all. And if we don't follow them, we die. It might not be split second die, but at the end of the day, you will die. And right now, our people that are in the world, like we struggle in this world, man. Everybody's struggling with addictions. And the biggest addiction right now is them drugs. Drugs, and everybody's addicted to showing off what they have. Like I was taught from my people, man, just because you got a pistol don't mean that you got to show that you got a pistol. Shouldn't nobody know that you got a weapon until it's too late. Like that is what we need to go back to. We need to go back to shouldn't nobody know that you got it. The society that we live in right now, they're telling everybody it's okay. You know what? Everybody needs to know that you got a pistol. Show off your pistols. It's okay for you to show off your pistols. No, it's not. What we need to do is we need to go back to the times that people didn't show their pistols. It wasn't a thing for everybody talking about I'm spraying at my ops, because who are your ops? The oppressor done made you think that your ops is really and truthfully your brothers and your sisters, and it's not. You need to be loving your brothers and your sisters and stop thinking that they're ops. If we would do what Zephaniah 2:1 said, gather ourselves together, O nation that's not desired, we wouldn't be in half the trouble that we're in right now. But it's time for us to stop being wicked. It's time for us to stop being children and become grown-ups. It's time. It's time for us to start doing what we need to do. And the first thing that we need to do is we got to talk to the men. Men, it is time for you to be a man. And the way that you be a man is by you coming into the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA, learning these laws, statutes, and commandments, following the laws, statutes, and commandments. Turn away from your wickedness, turn away from this world, and be something great. So that way you can teach your wife, your children to be something great too. That's the only way that we're going to change something, man. We have to start off with the men. And women, it's the same thing for you. You, like a woman doesn't know that her femininity is her greatest power. Most women don't understand that because they're too busy trying to be loudmouth. They're trying to be clamorous, and little do they know and little do they understand, you being so loudmouth and clamorous and yang, it makes you so unattractive, and it shows how much you are a child. Your submissiveness, your femininity is the greatest power that you have. And if you would ever want, like, you want to show your strength by how badly you can talk back, but what you really should be doing is showing your strength by how feminine you are. And that can go along with Ephesians. If we go to Ephesians, let's go to Ephesians 5 and let's start at 22. Because Ephesians 5 and 22 shows you exactly, like, this shows a woman her strength. The book of Ephesians in chapter 5, it lays everything out on the table. Like, go ahead and read Ephesians 5 and let's start at 21 first.
It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Verse 22.
So, right, first and foremost, it's talking to a man and a woman. It's saying submitting yourself to one another in fear of who?
The Most High.
In fear of the Most High. Like, there's a job for each person in a household. Everybody has a job to do. Everybody has a lane to stay in. So let's read. Let's get some more context and let's read some more on that, and let's see what lanes everybody should be in.
Verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord.
Keep reading.
Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church.
So we're going to go back to 22. It says, wives, submit yourself unto your own husband. As if what?
Is as the head of verse 23.
22.
Wives,
submit yourself to your husband.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands. As unto the Lord.
As unto who?
As unto the Lord.
Y'all know how everybody keeps saying, let's start off with here. If we look up the definition of Lord, the definition of Lord says a ruler. Somebody that is over someone else. Like a master. That is what the definition of Lord is. Like, that's the capital L and everything else lowercase in the Bible. That when it says Lord, it's talking about a ruler. It's talking about a husband. A husband, you are a ruler over your house. So it's telling you, it's saying right here, wives, submit yourself to your husband like you do to the Lord, like you would do to a ruler, like you would do to a man that is over you. Like, and that's something that's hard in the society that we live in, because all these women are, everybody, Salakia from a language, everybody's a bad bitch. Everybody is an independent woman that don't need a man. She never had a man in her life because daddy wasn't around, and she don't need a man now because she gonna live how she want to live and can't nobody tell her what to do. Those people right there, those women are the number one women that's begging for a man. But she needs a man that's going to control her. Like, she looks for the wrong things. All these so-called women that don't need a man, I'm good. They look for the wrong men because they don't know how to submit themselves. Submitting yourself is okay. That is a good thing to do. And especially if you find a man in the truth. You find a man in the I.S.U.P.K, if you submit yourself to him, understand this, you are in great hands. So you need to submit yourself unto the Lord. Well, submit yourself to your husband like you would to the Lord, like you would to a ruler. Keep reading.
Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife.
So right there, it's talking about rank and order. Like, it's not only rank and order when it comes down to brothers in the I.S.U.P.K. It's ranking orders in the military. There's ranking orders in a marriage. There's ranking orders wherever you go. It's ranking orders in the job. Because you got the principal. Like, say, for instance, if you're in a school system, you got a principal, you got APs, you got the AP secretary, you got the counselors, then you have the teachers, then you have the paras. and then you got the substitutes. In a corporation, you have the CEO, then you have, say for instance, you got the manager, then you got the assistant manager, then you got the supervisors, then you got the workers. Like there's rank and order wherever you go. And in the household, the rank and order is you have the Most High, Christ, man, woman, and then children. So the man is the head of you. So what you should do is submit yourself to them. Keep reading.
Khan, even as Christ is the head of the church,
Keep reading.
and he is the savior of the body.
Keep reading.
Verse 24, therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In some things.
In everything.
So right now, this is talking about the strength in a woman. Most women wouldn't see this as their strength, but this is actually talking about your strength. Your submissiveness is a strength. The fact that you can submit to your husband in everything is a strength that a lot of women don't have. The way that you sit here and follow the laws and follow what your husband's telling you is something mightier than you. You have more strength submitting to your husband than any woman that's an independent woman out in the world. Because an independent woman at the end of the day is going home to a cold bed and is begging for a man. You are a woman that's submitting to a man that is loving her husband, that is helping and being a helpmate and being a virtuous woman to a man, building up her man, building up her husband. That is your strength. Like being submissive and being feminine is your strength. I'm going to keep saying that because that's what we need. That's one of the things that we need to train up the society in. We need to train up our women to know that you being feminine is your strength. And then we need to train these hoe ass niggas, Salakia. We need to train these dudes that don't know no better to stop taking advantage of these women that want to be feminine. Right. Because you the problem. You the reason why there's so many women out here that don't want a real man because they thought that you was a real man and you was fake. You was a coward. Like you're the problem. Like everything is going to fall back on, like it or not, everything falls back on us. Everything falls back on the man, even if we like it or not. But the thing about it is, if we would train up these women in the way that they should go, like, how about this? Let's stop congratulating women showing their naked behind. Let's stop. How about if every time a woman is showing herself in bra and panties on social media, we report it and saying that it's disgusting for nudity? Right. How about we do that? How about every time that a sisters, anytime you see a dude around here showing his rod out or trying to show his print out, how about you report that as nudity and disgusting? How about we start making people be modest again? How about we know how to put some clothes on instead of trying to take some clothes off? Everybody want to do the silhouette challenge. Everybody want to do the twerk your behind challenge. Everybody want to do all these challenges that involves nudity. How about we do a challenge where we get back our strength by putting on clothes and making people see what our minds is first before they're sitting here looking at our body and what we bring to the table? Because if you're just trying to look at my body and my package and see what I bring to the table, I'm like General Muhammad. Poof, I'm gone. I'm away from that table. Because I got way more in my brain than what you see in my flesh. But you will never see that if the only thing that I'm sitting here putting out to you is, oh, this is my flesh. Look at my flesh. Look at my flesh. No, don't look at my flesh. Look at my mind. You can sit here and try to judge me, but you don't understand me and you don't know me until you talk to me. Let's start doing that. And we have to start off with men and women. Men, stop being these Hans. Stop being these Hans, man. Be a man. Be for real. Stop trying to take advantage of the situation. Sisters, y'all stop being some Hans too. Like, because y'all don't want nobody to correct y'all. And the reason why y'all don't want to be corrected is because y'all feel like y'all can live however y'all feel like living. Y'all feel like, hey, you know, it's my body. I can do whatever I want to. You know what? It is your body, sis. But how you want me to treat you like a princess, but you showing me nothing but a hoe? But if you were submitting yourself like the Christ, like if you were submitting yourself like the church did Christ, like you would to your husband, and understand if you have sex with a man, that is your husband. That's another thing. Sex is marriage. A lot of people are doing whatever they feel like doing because they don't understand that when you have sex with someone, that is yours from then on out. So now you done got like 6 or 7 husbands, sis, and now you feeling like, well, it's my body and I can do whatever I want to do with my body. No, sis. You need to give your body a sabbatical. Your boxes ran through. It might be time for you to go ahead and get a tune-up because that transmission's about to slip. And you wondering why at the age of 30, you can't have no kids. That's because you done let 30 dudes just run through you because it was your body and you do whatever you want with your body. And as these brothers, you wondering why your Jimmy don't work the way it should no more. You wondering why all of a sudden you discharging green coming from your rod. That's because you around here just letting whatever come to you come to you. You ain't protecting yourself because you don't think that you are more than what you really are. Like, coming into the truth, men understood that we are the prize. Like, no, never in the world did a man feel like he was the prize. In the truth, you know that you're the prize. Because you are the key. Like, legit, as men, we got to understand that we are the prize and we are the key for everything to move. Either we'll make it flourish or we'll destroy it. But sisters, don't think that you too far away because you have a play in it too. Women can destroy a household. Women can do damage to a household if they are not virtuous. And we have to get away from that. We have to train ourselves. We have to retrain our brains to be who we are supposed to be according to these scriptures. Now keep reading that, because most people stop at 24, but we're going to keep reading so we can give the sisters something to love too, something for them to, be able to smile about too.
That will come the book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church.
Husbands, that is what I'm talking about right there. We got to learn how to love our wives. And if we talking about love, we have to we can talk about love according to the scriptures. Go to 1 John 3. Let me see. Go to 1 John 3 and where I want. Shalakia. Go to 1 John 3 and I think it might be 15. Let me see. No, that's not it. No, it's 1 John's. No, go to 1 John 5 and 3. Salaki.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3.
Go start at verse 2.
Verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of the Most High when we love God and keep his commandments.
Verse 3.
For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
Understand this. man, we have to love our wives. And by us loving our wives, that means that we have a job to do. And our job is to know the law, statutes, and commandments and checking ourselves and being checked and being something righteous. So that way we can train our women up to be righteous. We can train our women up to know that, you know what, this is love. I love you so much that I'm not going to let you dress like a whore. I love you so much that I'm not going to allow you to do what you feel like doing when it comes down to a situation that you can get yourself hurt. Yeah, there's times, and General Muhammad, he said it. There's times that a man has to be a teddy bear. Like men, we're lions. We like to roar and all, but there's times we got to be a teddy bear. You know, of course, that's in your own homes with your wife. You know, that's between y'all two. That's when you be, that little teddy bear and you be soft. But the love that a woman needs, the love that these children need, is correction. And you don't always have to correct someone by stomping on them. Like, this is something that I learned. Correction can come in multiple different ways. There's times for you to talk like this, and you can do a correction like this. This is what I need you to do. And from now on, don't do that no more. Then you have times that you say, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is wrong. Don't do this no more. And then you have that lion spirit. But every situation doesn't call for you to be a lion. Every situation don't call for you to roar. Because if you roar every time that you have a situation, then that's all that they think is going to happen. And a woman is going to naturally shut her brain off because she's afraid. She's scared. And then you're hurting yourself more than you're helping it. Because at the end of the day, she's still going to be that same girl, the same little child that you got to sit here and still retrain, because every time you're trying to train her, you're yelling. And she's not listening every time that you yell because she's too busy trying to argue back. She's listening to you yell so she can find an argument. She's looking for that key point in there to just argue. How about we stop that? How about we stop giving them the ammunition to argue? And just be like, you know what? Because there's a way to cut someone without even having to yell. And us loving our wives and loving our children is one of the best things that we can do right now in this time. Because in this time, if there was someone that was correcting that situation and stopping the fact that, first and foremost, we don't even need to gather on March for these March birthdays. What are we doing? Like, in the society that we're living in, if the man would stay in the household and correct his wife and correct his family, then we'll be better off. But the oppressor has put their hands so much in our households that a woman feels like her strength is, you know what, I'm going to call the laws on you. Sis, that is one of the cowardliest things that you can do, is call the laws on your husband. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you to get beat. I'm not sitting here telling you that, because men, we don't need to beat our wives. Our wives will submit. We don't have to beat them for them to submit. That is a power that they will willingly give over. That's not something that you can take. You can't take it by force. You can't take it because you feel like you want it, you have to allow them to give that to you. And they'll give it to you. Trust me. They'll give it to you. But it takes a finesse. It takes a certain thing that you got to do, man. And the first thing is, you got to come to these laws, statutes, and commandments and be better. So that way you can teach your family to be better. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11:3. We're gonna talk about the rank and order structure again. Okay. Go ahead and read once you got it.
Karabakan is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is the Most High.
Understand this. There is a ranking order structure for a reason. And everybody has to play their part. Because if we don't play our part, then that's when situations can get real bad for us. Like everybody has to play their part. As Christ had to play his part because he knew the Most High was above him. And we know Christ is above the man. So we have to learn how to play our part. We got to learn how to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, get checked to be the man that we need, so that way we can teach our families to be that. Then we got to also teach our woman how to work with us. Because most of these women, they weren't taught to work with a man. They were taught to work without a man, to be without. So we have to train them on how to be with us and work with us and be a helpmate. And after we train them, then we got to train the children. Like everybody knows when you got like a little child, you go through them phases. You go through them phases with that child. That child is very disobedient because they know stuff, but they really don't know nothing. They don't know their own strength when they're 1 and 2. They just doing stuff. And then you got to start popping them and you got to tell them no. No, you're not doing this. No. And if they do it anyway, then you pop them, and then they understand eventually that this is not what I'm supposed to do. That's the same thing you got to do with your wives. You got to train them, because a woman, this is something that I learned. The most hurtful word to a woman is no. They hate being told no, but sometimes they need to be told no. They're like the children too. They're their children. And they got to be told no. Just like when we come into the truth, we get told no as men. Like there's stuff that we feel like we want to do, and our pride get in the way, and we get told, nah, that ain't what you need to do. We don't have the opportunity to go be a kid and whine and pout because we were told no. So we have to train our people and our families to not do that too. But we got to follow the ranking order structure. This goes for everybody in the household, man, woman, and the children. Now, when it says that in Ephesians, when it was telling a wife to submit to her husband and all that, one of the biggest problems that we have, and like I said, we started it off with this, with the strong man. They bind the strong man. And understand this. Go to Isaiah 3 and 12. Because not only do they bind the strong man, but the Bible also talks about something else that is a problem that we deal with. And this is in the Bible. And most people will say that this ain't true, but it really is. This is what we're dealing with. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors.
Children are what?
Are their oppressors.
Keep reading.
And women rule over them.
Understand this, brothers. Look, I understand that these households, they can be oppressive sometimes. But we have to stick through it, man. We have to stick through it because they need us at the end of the day. And yes, the children are oppressive. Because if the children need something, then what? We got to go do it. And if your wife needs something, then what? As a man, you got to go do it. So it can become oppressive because children, they just want anything. They want anything and everything. They see something, they want it. And in the society that we live in right now, children run the world, and the women are right there beside them. Because the only thing a child got to say is, I want this or I want that. And it has to be done. And a woman is going to sit here and be like, why you ain't giving them Christmas? They see everybody else have Christmas. Why they can't have Christmas? because that's against the law, statutes, and commandments. I don't care about that law, statutes, and commandments stuff you be talking about. My child wants Christmas. Look, we got to get to the point. We like, hey man, let me tell you something. My children ain't gonna never have Christmas.
That's right.
They ain't gonna never have a birthday. They ain't doing none of that. And if you don't like it, okay, that's fine. You ain't gotta like it. But as long as we together and you under my house and in my house, under my roof, understand this. We are not doing that. And that's what we have to stand on. When we stand on that, that can save a house. Instead of being like, well, you know what, man, I'm tired of fighting and arguing about this. You know what? Let them have a Christmas. Let them have a birthday party. You know what? All right, fine. No, we need to stop bowing down to that. We have to continue fighting because at the end of the day, we know what's best for our families. As men, we know what's best. Especially as righteous men. We know what we need. And we can't stop the fight, man. We can't stop. Go ahead, Art.
Salaga, sir. And if I may, what you're saying is so heavy that they don't realize the freedom in not following these pagan holidays and following the law, statute, and commandments, because the law, statute, and commandments is freedom from this society, this place that we are in.
Right. When you follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you'll start feeling like some chains done been let off you. Like the captivity that you was under so much. Like, I didn't understand how much oppression fathers was under when I was a child. Like, my father was under some oppression. And I ain't realize it until I got older. And I started hating birthdays and started hating Christmases and all that. Man, as a hey, go check on that real quick. As a man, we hate that, man. We have to figure out how to get everybody gifts, how to do birthdays and you just pay rent, how to make sure everybody stays happy at all times. That is oppression. That's his own oppression. Right. Because you sitting here, first and foremost, you barely making ends meet trying to get rent paid, but now you got to make ends meet getting rent paid. You also got to sit here and figure out how to get gifts. There's a lot of stuff that you got to figure out. And that's not what we need. Right. What we need, the weight that's lifted off of you when you don't have to spend money on gifts. Like when you don't have to worry about birthdays, you don't have to worry about Thanksgiving, you don't have to worry about Christmas, you don't have to worry about none of these pagan holidays. Man, it's a burden that's just lifted off you. Because you no longer have to worry about, okay, you know what? If I don't please these children, then I know my wife is going to be mad at me. And if my wife's mad at me, then I know for a fact I'm going to have hell for the rest of this week. Like, these kids are oppressive. Like, these children can be oppressive. And the women are right there next to them. Because a woman wants whatever my baby wants, that's what they gonna get. But you don't know what you're doing to that man that you so-called love just to give a child something that they're not gonna even remember. That one moment, them couple of hours of that day, you're making them happy. And what's gonna happen right after that? What's gonna happen right after that? Because y'all want to do all these for the first birthday, the second birthday. You know, they're 1 year old, they're 2 years old. Them kids don't even remember that. You sitting here spending hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on something that they're not going to even remember. Why? Because you feel like that's going to make them happy. How about we make the Lord happy? How about we do what the law, statutes, and commandments tell us to do and stop worrying about making others happy? The society that we live in, they've been happy long enough. How about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? How about we live in the way that we're supposed to live, and so that way we can make our household strong again, man? Let's strengthen up one another. Like, go to Titus 2:1. Let's go to Titus 2:1. Because there's stuff that can be taught. Like, women, y'all have a job. Y'all have what y'all supposed to be teaching. There is stuff for y'all to teach. Go ahead, read once you have it.
Titus chapter 2, verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. Verse 2. That the aged men be sober.
Hold on. Keep reading, matter of fact.
Come, verse 2. That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. Verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness.
So, women, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You are supposed to be an aged woman. And when it says an aged woman, it's not talking about an old woman. You ain't got to be 40, 50, 60 years to be an aged woman. You can be a woman that's been following the law, statutes, and commandments since the age of, let's say, like 20. You've been following law, statutes, and commandments since the age of 20, and you've been doing it for 7 years. You are now an aged woman. You are somebody that you've been following them perfectly. That means that you are a virtuous woman. You are a Proverbs 31 woman. You are doing everything that you're supposed to do. You are a helpmate. You do what you pay your tithes. You help with the school. You do everything possible that you can to be virtuous. You are someone that you're supposed to teach other women to be that. There's a lot of women nowadays that are, you got a couple of virtuous women here, and they're trying to teach everybody else how to be that. And women don't want to learn from other women because you feel like somebody is telling you how to be. But really and truthfully, you should listen to these women. There's some women hearing the truth that if you would listen to them, now be selective of who you listen to, But if you would listen to these virtuous women, there's no way that we all won't have peace hearing this truth. And we can't, and we will be able to get more people to come in. But everybody has a part to play. Everybody has to be trained. Like this is about training. You have to be trained in the way that you should go. When it says train a child, like I said from the beginning, I'm not just talking about these young children. I'm talking about these grown adults that's first coming into the truth. These grown adults that's been stuck in their ways for the longest time. We all have been children. And I ain't talking about no 5-year-old child. No, I'm talking about 21-year-old child. If you was in the world smoking weed, you was a child. If you was in the world robbing, stealing, murdering, and all, you was a child because you was impulsive. The only thing you were doing is doing everything just based off of how you was feeling at the moment. That's what children do. And that's how a situation like with these two teenagers dying on a live video can happen because everybody's impulsive. Everybody wants to have I gotta have this with me. I gotta have this with me. And you're doing stuff that you know you're not supposed to be doing. So now you got to keep something around you because you're always watching over your back because you're acting like a child. You're not acting like an adult. We all have a lane to stay in. We all have a job to do. And if we would do those things that we are supposed to do as men, if we would learn how to sit here and be corrected, be checked, grow up, and understand that this is for the betterment. Somebody telling me that I need to do better is not somebody hating on me. It's someone trying to love me. And you know what? I need to do the same thing for my wife. And the women, you need to understand if your husband is checking you or correcting you, you need to understand that this is coming from a place of love. It might not sound like it because he might be yelling at that time, but it's still love. Because if he didn't care, he wouldn't have said nothing at all. He would have just told you, you know what? All right, fine. Do you. And when you do you, then, hey, whatever happens to you, happens to you. That's what happens when you are not teachable. When you are a child, people will sit here and they'll sit back. They'll sit back and be like, all right, you hard-headed. I keep telling you that stove hot, but you want to keep touching it. You know what? All right, go ahead, touch it. You want to play with fire, you're gonna get burned. You touch that stove, now all of a sudden you run into them with your hand burned. Everybody has a job. Men, we have to be the providers. When I'm saying providing, I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about spiritual providers. We have to be the providers spiritually. We have to sit here and bring something to our households that's not being brought. The truth is not being brought to our house. The only way that the truth will be brought to our household is if we bring it. The I.S.U.P.K been here since 1969. And it's going to continue to be here until the end of the time. But we have to bring it to our house. We have to correct our people. And first, we have to be corrected. Women, understand this. Your children will not know what the truth is if you won't help bring it to them. And you have to be a walking, talking, like billboard of this is what you need to do. Yeah, your daddy said this. Well, you know what? Because your daddy said that, I'm going to make sure that it's done. And if I got to make sure that it's done, you definitely got to make sure that it's done. Because he said that. And he's the head. You got something out?
Kind of what you're saying is heavy, and it's crazy how like some of these parents, you know what I'm saying, that allow their kids to do drugs, you know, with them, you know what I'm saying, that smoke weed with them.
Right.
Like, I rather my kids smoke weed with me than, you know what I'm saying, go out in the streets, you know, and smoke weed with somebody else and something happens. You know what I'm saying? That sounds good on the outside, but you still promoting drug addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you showing that your kid that you're a drug addict. You know what I'm saying? And also, sir, I had a precept also from what you were saying earlier.
Go ahead.
About, you know, allowing, you know, parents allowing the kids, you know what I'm saying, like to, you know, pretty much rule them, pretty much.
Go ahead.
But this is Matthew 10. I don't know if you covered it or not. Matthew 10 and 37. These words are written in red, which means Christ spoke these words.
Go ahead.
He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. You know what I'm saying? So basically what they're saying, so if you that damn hell bent on your kids celebrating birthdays and Christmas and stuff, that means you're not worthy of receiving what Christ died for.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I got, sir.
No, hey, y'all get that brother a hand, because what he said was right on, man. Like, there's a lot of us that's not worthy of Christ. And because we put everything else before him. And that's the problem. Nothing should come before Christ. Nothing should come before the Most High. And that's the problem. We've been taught to put everything first. I want to live the way that I feel like living, so I'm going to do that first. And then, you know, I'm going to let the Lord do whatever he does. No, you put him first. If you put the Most High first and these laws, statutes, and commandments first, you won't have to worry about your children dying on a live video stream because there's a gun in one of their hands. Right. If you put the Most High first, you won't have to worry about coming home and seeing your child overdosed on drugs because he's sitting here thinking that it's okay to do it in your household because y'all do it together. If you put the Most High and the law, statutes, and commandments first, we would get out of this hell. We wouldn't have nothing to worry about. There's a lot of things that would change if we learn how to put the Most High and the law, statutes, and commandments first. But it starts off with us being trained. It starts off with us training our minds and rewashing our brains to understand that what I was trained at as a child was wrong. And it's time for me to be something different. Anybody else got anything to say? Go ahead, finish that.
Son of a con, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
Understand this, women. Understand this, sisters. Let me just tell you something. You being virtuous, you being a woman that can teach people how not to be a false accuser, how not to like you got to learn how to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. If you don't know for a fact that this is what it is, don't accuse someone of anything. Don't sit here and be a woman that everybody be like, oh, she drunk again. Ah, she drinking. Ah, man. All right. Who got her tonight? You know what? It's time to go. She done had one too many. Oh no. Who done let Josephine drink again? Didn't we say no more drinking for her? Women don't be that. Men don't be that. Don't be that brother that every time drinks start flowing, you got to be the first one to get your first 3 cups in within 10 minutes. You got 3 cups and you done knocked them back. Don't be that brother, man. Don't be that brother that everybody's sitting here be like, oh man. All right. Yep. He done started drinking. All right. Hey, y'all keep an eye on him. Don't be that. Don't be that false accuser. Don't be that person that's sitting here, don't have the information, but you're saying, oh, I know for a fact you're doing this. I know you're doing this, and you're doing this on purpose. Okay, where's the proof? Well, no, where's the proof that I'm purposely doing this? So you're accusing me of something, but you have no proof. Don't be that person. Be something different. And once you being something different, then more can come. All right. That's just simple. We have to retrain ourselves. And this is the first step to saving our children's lives and saving our lives. We have to understand that we have to retrain our mindset. What we was taught, what we were used to seeing, what mommy and daddy taught us, what the Christianity taught us, what the hood done taught us, what the streets done taught us, understand this. All those things were childish things. Do you know how childish it is for you to sit here and bang on somebody else because they wearing a different color than you? You wearing blue, I'm wearing red. You know what? I'm gonna shoot you down in the streets because I don't like the fact that you wearing blue. Do you know how childish that is? Like you're legit about to kill someone over a color. And you don't see the childishness in this. Or you're about to destroy your whole household because you don't like something that was said and you don't even have the full context behind it. Do you know how childish that is? Do you know how childish it is to tear down everything that you worked hard for just because you didn't like how something was done? That's like you sitting here. That's like, what's the best way I can say this? That's like, you know what? I got a car wash and I don't like the fact that my rims didn't get as clean as the rest of my car got clean. So you know what? I'm finna dirty up my whole car again. That's how a lot of people are thinking. Just because you don't see what you wanted in that one little spot clean, you're ready to destroy everything else. And you don't see how childish that mindset is. You don't see how childish it is that you are allowing yourself to smoke weed with your own child. This is the child that you birthed. This is the child that you raised. And you telling them, well, I'd rather you smoke with me than you smoke with someone else. So both of y'all rather have lung cancer. Both of y'all rather have lung cancer. You rather have lung cancer with your child than for your child to not smoke at all and you not smoke at all. You rather your child do acid with you. Because I know, like, when I was younger, when I was in the world, I had partners that said, you know what? I'll try anything with my child before I let my child try by themselves. And I asked them, I said, anything? They were like, yeah. Man, if they want to do acid, I'll trip acid with them. They want to do sherm, I'm gonna do it with them. Because I ain't gonna let my child do it by themselves. And I just looked at them like, bro, do you know how stupid that is? Do you know how childish that is for you to sit here and be like, well, you know what? Whatever drug my child decides he want to do, I'm gonna do it with him, so he's not doing it alone. Why wouldn't you just tell them don't do drugs? Oh, you know what? My child likes shrimp. So I know that shrimp is a sin, but you know, my child like it, so I'm gonna do it with him. So you would rather sin because your child likes sin and your child likes shrimp. Come on now. It's time for us to get a backbone. Anybody else got anything else, sir? All right, and with that, I want to say Amaju, which means to stand. Sar, which means face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, then in English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'a, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Latadanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawashnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawawashnawa, Wala'a, Tabiyanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hayashanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahata Para, La'awalamya, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn to face the front. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then the sisters. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Brakatah, Yahweh Matah. Sar, face the sister. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Atah Ba'ashem Yahushua, Yahweh Matah, dismissed.